Well, it's the fuel source for our healthy cells, and it's also the fuel source for our cancer cells. We can't starve the cancer, unfortunately, because we're going to starve our healthy cells first. Every healthy cell in your body has glucose receptors. That's your sugar. And your healthy cells take the glucose in as energy. The cancer cells can sometimes have more glucose receptors. So imagine it as a face with more mouths. So you can't starve it, but you can keep your blood sugars from going high. That would help cut the source of fuel. And so you don't want your blood sugars running high. And the way that you control your blood sugars, it's basically the same recommendations we give to diabetics, really avoiding those simple sugars, the cakes, the candies, the cookies, the soda, making sure that you're always, when you are eating a carbohydrate, you're choosing whole grains. Then you're getting the fiber and the vitamins and minerals from that. Choose your fruits that have plant chemicals that help fight disease. And then always make sure that you're eating a protein with your meal, and that helps control the blood sugars. There aren't any magical foods. We talked about that. You really get a lot of benefits from a lot of different foods, and it's really a synergistic effect that helps give us the cancer-fighting potential. I have a lot of patients that want to change the pH of their blood. And there's a pH of your blood, there's a pH of a cancer cell, there's the pH of a healthy cell, there's a pH of saliva, there's the pH of urine. I mean, there's so many different pHs in your body. And we do know that when you're eating a lot of processed foods, and you're eating a lot of fried foods, and you're eating a lot of salty foods, and you're eating a lot of junk foods, that actually is taxing. It causes inflammation in the body. But there isn't any evidence that shows that I can eat a food and it's going to change the pH of a cancer cell. So there are a lot of products out there that you could buy that are going to change your pH. Those are the ones I would really caution you against, because there isn't any evidence to support them. But there is evidence that eating a plant-based diet is going to be healthy for you, and it's going to decrease inflammation. And maybe that's again, I think that's the partial truth to that statement. I also have patients who ask me about raw food. Should I eat 100% raw foods? Am I killing all of the nutrients in my fruits and vegetables when I cook them? The truth is, when you cook anything, you're going to change its chemical structure. Whether I cook it on a grill, or I heat it in a microwave, or I bake it, or I broil it, or I steam it. And some nutrients are really destroyed by heat, and some nutrients are actually better absorbed in the human body when they're heated just a little bit. So you certainly don't want to overcook things, but you want to get a nice variety of fruits and vegetables. I'd say the majority should be raw, but you want about 20%, 30% of cooked, so that you're getting a nice absorption. A great example of that is a tomato. If I eat it raw, I am going to get all of the vitamin C, because vitamin C is one of those vitamins that's destroyed by heat. And if I cook it a little bit, I'm going to get better absorption of lycopene. And we know that lycopene is a cancer fighter, and it's best absorbed when it's heated a little bit, and it's fat soluble, so it's best if it has a little bit of fat with it. So stewed tomatoes with olive oil would give me the lycopene. A raw tomato would give me the vitamin C. This is the American Society for Enteral and Parenteral Nutrition. I put this up here because although diet is a risk factor for cancer, you can't cure yourself with diet if you have a cancer diagnosis. And there are a lot of really fad diets out there I want people to be cautious of. They can be really high in nutritive value, but the first goal for every patient going through treatment is to stay nourished. If you lose unintentional weight, you're not going to be a candidate for treatment. The treatment's going to go on hold. When you lose rapid, unintentional weight, you oftentimes lose your muscle mass. And medicines start to work in the muscles. So if you don't have the muscles to do the work, you're going to have more of the toxic side effects. So I have patients that come to me and they've actually become malnourished, not because of the cancer, but because of their radical diet. So really be cautious of that. Work with a dietitian so that you're staying nourished and choosing foods that fight cancer. Fad diets, recommendations that promise a quick fix, dire warnings, claims that sound too good to be true. You want to make sure that there's evidence to support claims. Sometimes there's a study. Patients will tell me about a study. Well, it was only a study of 3, or maybe it was only a study in mice. And everyone wants hope, and everyone wants to do the right thing, and everyone wants to fight the cancer, but you want to make sure that you have evidence-based medicine, or at least have enough evidence to know that it's not going to be harmful for you while you're going through treatment. Vitamins and minerals and supplements, things like that. Work with your clinicians to make sure that you're taking safe products. Some things could be really effective for you, maybe during treatment, but not after treatment. And some products can be really effective for you after treatment, but not during treatment. So you want to be really cautious. One example would be green tea and Velcade, not a good combination. So you really want to talk to your clinicians and make sure that you're taking products that are safe. And I know that's really hard because not every facility has a dietitian or a naturopathic doctor. At cancer treatment centers, we have that integrative model, and that's really helpful. It helps support the patients. It helps them feel empowered, and that's really hard for you if you're going to your physician and he's not able to answer those questions for you. But I would encourage you to keep leaning in because you want to make sure that you're taking things that are going to be effective and safe. This slide is for patients who are currently going through treatment, or if you know anyone who's going through treatment. Again, you want to make sure that you're staying nourished. I always tell patients my first goal is to prevent or reverse malnutrition. My second goal is to be a resource for them on how they can choose cancer-fighting foods and be a part of their treatment plan. So there are a lot of barriers to nutrition or malnutrition or that cause malnutrition. Sometimes it's a physical barrier. Sometimes it's side effects from treatment. And so you really want to make sure that you have a whole team working with you to help manage any of those side effects. It's not okay to have nausea while you're going through treatment. We have way too many medications. You could try acupuncture. There are things called C-bands for motion sickness that have acupressure or put acupressure on your wrist that can help with nausea. Ginger is a great natural antiemetic. I always tell patients, go with room temperature foods or cold foods to avoid those odors. Taste changes can be a problem. There's a whole list of things, and you want to make sure you have lots of tools in the toolbox. Patients ask me if they should be on a special diet. Not always. First goal is to prevent or reverse malnutrition, and then you want to make sure that your diet is geared to your treatment plan. And so some patients need to avoid fiber while they're going through treatment, depend on what their treatment is. Some patients might have a little more nausea because of the treatment that they're on. And so you really want to be working with the dietitian and have some tools to get you through the treatment. This slide is out front also. It's a list of resources. One is the American Institute for Cancer Research. Another one that I really like, it's a breast cancer survivor, and she is a registered dietitian, and she has a really great website that has meal plans, has recipes. That's really great for patients. And then the other one I like to put a plug in for is it's down at the bottom. It is a Nutrition Action Health Letter. Really, really thin, tiny, maybe 10-page booklet. It comes out 10 times a year. It might cost $12. It doesn't have any advertisements in it, and it's like a Consumer Reports for food. They always have a topic that they cover on the front. It's not always related to cancer. Sometimes it's heart health, sometimes it's obesity, sometimes it's breast cancer, sometimes it's colon cancer. It's really always related to health. And then they go through the literature, things that are, maybe studies that are coming out. And they talk about what literature was done and then the take home. What can I do with this information? And then they always have a section about foods. Maybe they analyze breads. They go into the marketplace and they see all of the breads that we're choosing from right now, and they give it a best bite. It's like a 2 thumbs up. They give it a best bite for fiber, or if it has corn syrup, it's not going to get a best bite. So they just analyze different foods. Sometimes they do yogurt, sometimes they do bread, sometimes they do cereals. But they really help you navigate some of the marketing pitfalls. I'm sure you're all familiar with the Lucky Charms that is now made with whole grains. I'm really excited about that one. So you want to be able to, that's an obvious one that I think, most people can navigate, but some people can't. They think they're making a good choice for their family. And so this little flyer, I send it out to my friends and family at Christmas time. It's a really cheap gift, and it really helps people understand what's going on in the marketplace and how they can make better choices.